Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Fox, and today I wanted to revisit an old talent combination, a favourite of mine, which is Clutch and Obliterate. I covered this in some videos quite a while ago now, mostly using AR builds to play from range, and I really like the combination, but those videos and builds didn't gain much traction, and the main reason for that is Clutch. A lot of people sort of view this as a pretty bad talent, particularly as it used to be broken, and the most important part of it didn't even used to work. It has quite a while ago been patched, and I know this is a bold claim, but I truly believe that it actually works better with a Hunter's Fury build than Memento. I know that, as I say, I know that is a bold claim, but I will go into detail as to why that is. I'll cover the build, I'll quickly show you all how Clutch works, and I'll include some gameplay footage from a heroic mission. Of course, all of that will be timestamped in the description below. If you do generally like the channel, please do like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification icon to be notified for future videos. I mostly cover build videos anywhere from new and returning players getting into the game to end game content for more advanced players, and that is for Destiny 2 and Division 2. So any of those games kind of tickle your fancy, give us that cheeky like and subscribe, and I'll make sure I get out some appropriate builds for you all. So let's have a look at Clutch first of all. I've got perfect Clutch on here, but you don't need to run that with this build. The only difference is that it is if you're below 15% for Clutch and 20% for perfect Clutch. So of course perfect is better, but the Devil's Juice Eska backpack is quite hard to farm for, so don't worry too much if you don't have a good one or one at all. So the talent, if you are below 20% armor, critical hits repair 2.5% missing armor. Now the second part that now works states that kills allow you to repair up to 100%, so you can actually go over that 20% threshold, still healing at 2.5% per critical hit, and that is for anywhere from 4 to 10 seconds based on the amount of red core attributes you have on your build. If you have none, it will be 4 seconds after that first kill that you can continue healing past 20%, and if you have 6 reds, it will be 10 seconds. I'm missing one, I've got 1 blue and 5 reds, so I'll be sat at 9 seconds. Let me quickly demonstrate exactly how that works. So what we've got here is an immune target. No, that's not true at all. We now have an immune target. If I damage myself to below that 20% mark, pretty straightforward. Watch my health. So you see that even though I emptied my entire mag, it only healed me up to 20%. If I now get a kill, watch my health. You see it's continually healing. I mean, look at the speed that goes up. Memento is fantastic because it offers a lot of damage buffs and the 3% armor regen per second, but this can heal 3, maybe even 4 times faster if you have the right loadout and weapon. So Clutch is phenomenal because it minimises your downtime drastically, and even though running a non-damage backpack, so not running Memento for example, can absolutely hurt your damage, if you look at it as a per bullet damage number, what you need to sort of consider, and what I initially didn't consider, was that your uptime, essentially you firing your weapon, is so much higher with Clutch. You're not sat in cover waiting for your armor to regen, you're not using your armor kits, you're just constantly firing, that actually your total damage over the course of an entire mission or raid will be quite a fair bit higher, and you can really end up hitting big numbers for both kills and damage at the end of a mission just by running this exact combination. So that's essentially how Clutch works. Let's now have a quick look at the build so I can explain why I've put it together in the way I have. There is a lot of synergy with this build in a combination of what I call on-kill talents, so that's stuff that only kicks in once you've got a kill, and before kill talents, so that's just stuff that's always active, or active if you shoot into an enemy. Hunter's Fury is fantastic for clearing up ads and so on because it gives you a lot of armor on kill and damage buffs after getting that kill. So Hunter's Fury definitely takes over from Clutch and Obliterate for just clearing out rooms for your purples, your red bars, that sort of thing. But where Obliterate and Clutch take over is against bosses and heavies, where you're not going to get your armor on kill very quickly because they've got a lot of health, and you're not going to get your extra damage from Hunter's Fury or the Disorient from killing them for the same reasons. Obliterate will give you a large amount of damage in the interim, and Clutch will keep you topped off whilst you are damaging them, and then as soon as they're dead you can move on. So this build has sort of a combination of those two different types of talents that create some amazing synergy, and when you use it in the exact way that I have, I promise that you'll be a convert. Clutch is a top tier talent when used correctly, and it can absolutely outperform other similar or very sort of meta backpack talents. So let's have a look at the build. We are starting with the Dark Winter. The main reason for this is that it is a Vector, which is the highest rate of fire weapon in the game at 1200 RPM, and ultimately if you are critting faster, you are healing faster and building up your Obliterate stacks faster, so it's very important that you go for a high rate of fire weapon. SMGs also come intrinsically with up to 21% crit chance, which is also very good because you need to be hitting the crit chance cap with this build. 60% is a must, so that also really helps us out. And Perfect Killer is one of the best on-kill talents for any crit chance, crit damage build, as it buffs our crit damage by 50% for 10 seconds if we actually kill an enemy with a critical hit. So as soon as you've got that first kill that is a critical hit, because your crit damage is so much higher, it's therefore a lot more likely that your next kill will also be from a critical hit, just because they're hitting that much harder, and therefore you can have quite literally 100% uptime on Perfect Killer in a solo heroic mission, and very close to that in a group heroic mission where you're not quite killing everything yourself. It's insanely good. It works so well with this build, and we're hitting nearly 190% crit damage, as I'll show you all in a second, with that max crit chance. Secondary weapon and sidearm, use whatever you want. I don't use these at all. I don't feel the need to. It's probably better to have a longer range weapon here, but honestly, it really doesn't make a difference which one you decide to use. We are going for 4-piece Hunter's Fury. We've got the build rolled to 5 red and 1 blue, just for the bit of extra survivability. Hunter's Fury gives us a 2-piece bonus of 15% SMG damage, which is phenomenal with this build. It pairs really nicely, and is actually a bigger buff than Sokolov. The 3-piece is my favourite part, 20% armour on kill and 100% health on kill. So this is the part that allows you to clear rooms that don't have heavies, warhounds and bosses in them. Hunter's Fury is phenomenal for your generic ad clear, just sort of like general missions and the summit and raids and so on. And then the 4-piece Apex Predator is a combination of an on-kill and a before-kill talent, in the sense that we just gain by default 20% multiplicative damage of being in range, and then when we actually kill them we apply Disorient to any enemy that is nearby, as well as increasing that amplified damage by 5% each kill, stacking up to 5 times total. So that works really well with this build. It just means that the more kills we get, the faster we get our health back, and of course the more damage we do, which again equates to our survivability increasing. Quite simply, the faster you kill stuff, the less likely you're going to die. Each piece is rolled into either crit chance or crit damage, as you can see here. What you need to be doing is rolling your weapon entirely into crit chance, the 5% mods where possible, and then as soon as you're at that 60% cap, you want to be putting the rest into critical hit damage. My chest piece is Obliterate. I was very lucky to get this Sokolov drop a while ago. That is a triple god roll so that I could re-roll the talent, so this chest is very easy on the eyes. What this essentially does is give me the Obliterate talent, which after its buff is now very good. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, but this does stack up to 25 times. Now because we have a 1200 rate of fire, 60% chance weapon, you will get this up to max very, very quickly. And this is where it shines versus bosses that Hunter's Fury is typically quite poor against. It's just by shooting into those bosses you're gaining tons of extra additional damage without having to wait for the kill to give you the extra Hunter's Fury benefits. It stacks very nicely with the Devil's Due. As I said, you don't need this backpack if you don't, but the fact that it is Seska is really nice, as it helps us to hit that cap. This is also based on your critical hits, so by having that 1200 RPM weapon, you're going to stay at that 20% quite comfortably, and then as soon as you get that kill, you can very easily go up to 100%. Don't forget, as soon as you get the kill, you're also going to get the 20% armor on kill from hunters, and then your clutch will continue to heal you up to 100%. You'll kill the next person and just rinse and repeat. Every kill you'll get your armor on kill, and in between those kills you're topping it off with clutch. So the synergy with this build is unreal. The skills are your choice entirely, but I feel that, in my opinion, the only two you should be using are a shield to just whip out when you're low health, and then a res hive, as SMG, close range Hunter's Fury builds are always the highest risk builds. Yes, they output more damage than AR builds in PvE for the most part, but they are very dangerous. You can quite easily get flanked or overwhelmed and die. That does happen even on very well made builds, so that's why I like to run the res hive in conjunction with the shield, just to both improve my survivability. Excuse me, I already do have great survivability by swapping out Memento with Clutch, but ultimately this build is not a face tanking build, so just bear that in mind. The specialization that I went for is Gunner. Now there are a few choices here, but I'll say there are a few choices. Actually, no, I don't think there are. I did try this originally with Technician and Firewall, and they both offer some great benefits. But Gunner, literally every single passive in Gunner actually benefits and synergizes very well with a build that gives you your armor back both after kill and before the kill. We have the armor kit that gives us an additional 30% bonus armor, which pairs nicely with the 1 blue on the build. That means that you can build up all of your base armor in the background whilst that's active. I very rarely use armor kits at all with this build, but it is one of the best ones in the game. The third reload being 50% faster is fantastic, as quite simply the whole point of this build is to reduce your downtime, and with certain builds like armor on kill builds or Memento builds, you've usually got to wait until your armor regens so you can go into the kill. With this one, Clutch is obviously going to tide us over, and reloading faster means that we can reproc Clutch even faster, we can keep our Obliterate stacks going faster, we can kill faster, and all of this just synergizes beautifully with the build. We also get an additional 10% armor on kill. Again, this pairs very nicely with Hunter's Fury to bring us up to 30% total. And the right foam grenades are fantastic against the harder to kill targets where you're relying more on Clutch and Obliterate than you are Hunter's Fury, as you can just foam a heavy or a boss in place so that they stop shooting you as much and then just gun them down. We have the 10% ammo regen over every minute and 5% for the rest of our team, which again synergizes beautifully with a 1200 RPM SMG, as you will be firing that thing and you know, spewing out bullets like crazy, so this just helps you to prevent running out of bullets. And then we have probably one of the best parts here actually is the 5% rate of fire increase. If you're firing 5% faster, you are building up your clutch stacks 5% faster. You're doing the same for Obliterate. You're killing 5% faster, which gives you your armor on kill faster. It all just plays together so well with Gunner, and that's why I highly recommend that this is the only specialization that you consider. If we have a look at my stats, you can see that I'm at the 60% cap, and this is a necessity. If you're at 57, 58%, slap on another 5% mod. May seem inefficient, but being at 60% and critting more of the time just equates to Obliterate and Clutch doing their jobs better. And with the perfect killer talent active, I can hit nearly 190% critical hit damage, but even without that, it's 138.2%, which is very difficult to achieve on a Memento build, as that backpack does not include any crit chance or crit damage. Yes, the total damage of Memento will be higher per bullet, but because of the amount of downtime you have with Memento, where you've got to wait for that 3% per 1 second, versus this Clutch and Obliterate build, you will absolutely do more damage with this build over the course of an entire mission. What we'll now do is load into a mission so I can show you exactly how this all plays out. What we'll do is we'll just go to American History Museum. I was testing the build earlier there, and it's a nice quick mission with plenty of ads that rush you. There are gunners and so on, so some really dangerous enemies. Yeah, this is a good mission to test this build out.
Control point nearby.
So what we'll do is we'll run this solo and we'll set it to heroic. Now I'm going to try not to use my shield unless I really need to, just to show how much armor I can get back once I've been damaged myself. I'm going to try and play this as aggressively as possible, which is quite literally the point. Where's this guy hiding? Oh well, that awesome accuracy. I've not been on the game too much since a lot of TU11 actually, so you'll have to excuse the average accuracy. Now unfortunately nothing actually shot me there, which I suppose is a good thing. It's indicating how fast this build kills. Yes, I know this is only a solo heroic, so there aren't that many ads, and a lot of them are red bars. What I'm going to do now is bring out my shield. There's the armor on kill, there's Clutch kicking in again, another armor on kill, 2 kills, and I'm already up to full. Or, you know, nearly full. Boom. So yes, you may be thinking, well, Clutch isn't doing that much for you here because you're just killing stuff so quickly that your armor on kill is tiding you over, and you're absolutely right in saying that, but just to reiterate the point I made earlier, Clutch and Obliterate are there for certain parts of your missions, and Hunter's Fury is there for the other parts. Hunter's Fury is good for these rooms where you're just killing reds and purples, but then when you come to bosses, that's where Clutch takes over. You will notice it working in the background, especially once I've actually got the kill, because then it tops me up to 100%. But for the most part, again, in these general rooms, it is mostly Hunter's Fury doing the work. Oh, I've just been shocked. Ah! Wow, that was like the world's longest shot. Okay. That's fine. So Clutch, you saw that get me to 20%, and then the armor on kill. Again, after 2 kills, I'm already at, what, 80%? After 2 kills, it's crazy. Now that will be more like 60% without Clutch, because of course it's 20% per kill plus 10% from Gunner, so 30% over 2 kills is 60. But that was a lot higher than 60 because Clutch was working its magic in the background there, and you know, I know it's only 20% more health, but that's still 20% more health than you would have had. And on a build that only has 1 blue, every bit of armor that you get is fantastic. And if you're in the middle of a fight and you want to kill the enemy, you don't want to be just purely relying on the armor on kill. You kind of need the armor before then, and that is where Clutch comes in. So I no longer have any shield. Let's see if I can survive this. Easy mode. Easy mode. Back up to full. So once again, this is just advertising the synergy with this build. It's not like, you know, a lot of builds that rely too much on survivability, tanky builds that typically don't do that much damage. This is murdering. This is absolutely chewing through these gold bars. And the more kills we get, the more damage we do. I mean, look at those crit numbers. 500k, 525. So much damage. So again, you know, Clutch isn't having a chance to kick in here, but that's fine. We want to kill stuff as fast as possible. We don't want to build that we just spend forever shooting into enemies, and yeah, we don't die, but neither do they, because that's just a waste of ammo and time. The whole point of this build is to run through these missions as fast as possible, you know, so you can efficiently farm, but you don't have to spend all of your time in cover getting your armor back because you're running a 6 red glass cannon build. You know, I'm running a very high red, high damage build, but healing like crazy through it all. And this is why I think it's better than Memento. Now don't get me wrong, Memento is still in my loadout. I will absolutely, I mean, for example, I use it on my Pesty build. There you go, Pesty is the bestie. And I ran it on my old Hunter's Fury build as well. And for legendary content, Memento is fantastic because the fights are longer, you're at much greater risk, you're usually sat at range, and that constant 3% armor regen is top tier. But for these missions, for heroic missions where you're just playing with some friends, you're queuing with some other people, you're doing your shepherd stuff, you're running through them solo like I am, Clutch wins hands down. It absolutely does. You do just as much damage as Memento over the course of the entire mission, but you heal like several times more. What we'll do is we'll clear out this room and then we'll bring the mission to an end. This guy's got to be pretty low, so let's use Clutch there. There we go. Because I already had Clutch active in the previous kill, I was healing way past the 20%, and I'm back up to full again after those 2 kills. I don't have to stop for armor kits, I don't have to do any of that, I just keep on shooting. Isn't that not the point of any build? Just to keep killing? Damage really ramps up. So I'm not even using my shield here, I don't need to. The best part is, unlike Hunter's Fury, Clutch and Obliterate actually work from... Woo! I've got a guy behind me as well, this could be dangerous. This is what I was telling you about, these gunner guys, these hurt. Not as much as I hurt him, but... There we go. So that's pretty much it. That's all I really wanted to showcase. All I ask is that you give it a chance before you sort of have a negative opinion of it, because I know the general consensus is that Clutch is bad, but try it out first. If you've got a really well-rolled Devil's Due sat in your stash and you've been waiting for a reason to use it, put this build together, stick on your Dark Winter or just any high rate of fire AR SMG, and I promise you will not regret it. If you still don't like it, let me know in the comments. You know, give the video a dislike if you really don't think that what I'm onto here is anything that's worth running. But try it out for yourself first, by all means. Let me know what you think. I'm curious to hear what the general thought of it is after watching this video. I think it's brilliant. I spend a lot of time damage testing in this game and in Destiny, so I don't ever put a build out that I think is subpar. But at the same time, this build might only be appropriate for me, and other people's different playstyles may not suit it, so that's why I'm curious to hear your opinions. Thank you very much if you did watch the video through the end. Thank you for the continued support of the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.